Hello people, this is an introduction for those people that want to go bigger with their helicopter. They're not sure what size to go to and they're not sure whether to stay with electric or go to nitro. So this is just a bit of an introduction into the bigger nitro helicopters. First of all, obviously it's big. From the tip of a blade up here right down to the other end, 71 inches. This is a Raptor 60, Thunder Tiger Raptor 60, so that's big. So you're getting into the danger zones. Even with a Raptor 30 it's not that much smaller really. The disc, your blade disc, when that's spinning on here, that's over 5 feet, so there's a lot of danger about it. And for those people who are serious into their helicopters, then bigger and heavier is the way to go. They are so much more stable. They fight the wind. Their disc is so big it acts like a big gyroscope, so it helps it sit there a lot better. It isn't so twitchy. They are very nice, very nice. The thing is, do you want to go nitro or do you want to go electric? They've got pros and cons for both. Nitros are dirty. They have exhaust oil. That's why my exhaust has got a plug in it. After you've finished flying, that will drip out with horrible oil. It also gets covered in it from the smoke, so you've got to keep it clean. You've got to wipe it. Electrics are very clean, but the drawbacks of electrics is the batteries. You're going to need, on say a T-Rex 600, you're going to need 3 batteries, so you can go to the park, have 3 flights, maybe kind of 8-minute flights, and that's it. You have to go and charge up. But the batteries are expensive. They used to be Thunder Power, very good batteries. They used to be £200 each, and of course you want 3 of these. That means it's going to be £600 of your budget gone on just power alone. The drawback with nitros, nitro helicopters have special engines. They are designed for helicopters, and they usually need to run on 20% nitro or more, 25 or 30%. Now the percentage means nitro is made up from methanol and nitromethane. The percentage of nitro in it gives the engine more power and helps cool it down, believe it or not. But the more percentage of nitro, the more expensive. So it's about £20 a gallon of nitro, 20% nitro. So that is the expense side of a nitro helicopter. But you can fly all day. You just refuel and back up again you go. You have got an onboard set of batteries, but if you've got a big one like I have, it's capable of flying all day. The system, for those who don't really know, they've never been introduced to nitro helis. The rotor head, it's all the same as what you've seen before. You have a swash plate, a washout, rotor hub, rotor blades, and a fly bar stabilizer. They're all pretty much the same. There ain't much to say about it. You'll recognise these things and you'll know all about it. They're pretty well built a similar way, with the thrust bearings and the way it's all built up. The difference is inside. Thunder Tiger use a normal setup, and Align T-Rexes use what's called ccpm. Now everyone's heard of ccpm because of your little helicopters. If I just get the top off here, I'll explain a bit. Okay, this is normal, and what that means is to control your collective and your swash plate, I have one servo that moves the swash plate up and down. This servo here will move this control rod and it will swing this unit here and it will move the swash up and down, just one servo. I have another servo that does aileron and one that does elevator. So One servo does forward and back, and one does left and right, aileron, elevator. So one servo for each as a normal setup. On the T-Rexes, the aligned side of life, you have what's called ccpm, which is cyclic collective programmable mixing. Your 3 servos that I've just pointed out that do mine, you will have each one of these attached to the swash plate, and the program in the transmitter will tell all 3 servos to move up and down at the same time, therefore giving you collective pitch, and it will mix them individually to give you your aileron and elevator. That is the main difference between the 2 helicopters. The fueling on the Nitro, it looks, it sounds quite daunting, but it's quite simple. When the engine's running, it will pressurise from the exhaust. You have pressure, it will pressurise the main tank. This will force fuel up a pipe inside that floats up and down for when you're inverted. It will force fuel into the header tank. The header tank stays full all the time, comes out the header tank through the fuel filter into the engine. It is very, very simple. It's identical to a Nitro car. There's no difference. If I just get Sam's Nitro car up, there's his car. We have the exhaust pipe, pressurises the main fuel tank, pumps it out of the fuel tank through a fuel filter into the carburetor. The only difference is usually on helicopters there's no air filter, as you're not chucking up the dirt to collect any dirt in it. A good bit of advice that I'd give to anyone is get a good transmitter, and I really think that the DX7, Spectrum DX7, is absolutely perfect. You get your receiver and a satellite receiver. This is the first receiver, the main one, and that's angled that way, and it will pick up the radio signal. This is at a different angle. They're angled that way on a different part of the helicopter, so you've got a dual link. If one servo stops talking for some reason, it will use the information it gets from the other one, so you've got double safety. 2.4 gig, you cannot go wrong. I suggest to everyone, regardless what you get 2.4 gig. It doesn't get interference, you haven't got radio problems, so on and so forth. Obviously the GY401 is tried and tested with a good digital tail servo for your tail control. Perfect. There isn't that much else to say. You need a starter, which is just a wand that you hold down into this drive knuckle here. That's on a one-way bearing. That starts it up. And really, that's about it. It's just a battery, a starter, your normal glow starter. The onboard battery on here, I strapped under here. This is big. This is a 4,300 milliamp hour, so that can run all the digital servos for quite some time. When you're running digital servos, they obviously use a lot more power than normal ones because the signals they get, they react to it straight away. So you need a good onboard battery regardless what you're using, and you don't have to charge it up. Charge it up once before you go out that day and that's it. It should last you all day. Usually put a volt spy. I usually put on here. This tells me the power inside the unit. I just turn it on. It tells me what power I've got. You can actually fly past, just hover it and have a look at the power while it's still up in the air. The Raptor 60 and above don't have a tail belt. They have a torque shaft. It's like a prop shaft. It gets driven by some gears and the torque shaft goes up the boom to another set of bevel gears that drives your tail. That is the main difference between the big helicopters and the smaller ones. The 30s and the 50s, they have belt drive. I haven't noticed much difference. I couldn't really tell you from flying it whether it's good, bad or indifferent, but that's the way they make it. There must be more of a positive idea about having a torque shaft. So there's a bit of an introduction into Nitro helis.